From raw speed to technical precision, these 400-meter races had it all. Watch as we compare a dramatic Commonwealth Games battle with a dominant Jamaican performance at CARIFTA, highlighting key moments and race-winning strategies.
The Grenadines and Lara of Trinidad and Tobago on the outside. So with only 3 non-automatic qualifier spots, that's make the first 3 or you're not going to make it through to the semis is really the message. There is Lara, 46.92 man this year. He'll be running blind. His personal best was last year, 46.4. In lane 7 for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He's actually the national 800 metres champion this year. Desroy Jordan, the 21-year-old, best of 47.76 this year. In 6, Kolinga Kumar of Sri Lanka, 3 times their champion and the reigning champion, set his personal best actually, but back on the 23rd of April. He hasn't raced since the middle of June. In 5, the very experienced Australian Steve Solomon, 8th in the Olympic Games in London 2012. Remember that, 10 years ago now. A semi-finalist in Tokyo last year, and he holds the Australian record for 400 indoors at 45.4. Good athlete. There's Anthony Cox of Jamaica. Had COVID in Eugene, but was able to compete in the heats of the 4x400 for his nation. Came 3rd in the Jamaican Championships earlier on this summer. There's Obedient Timbaki of Vanuatu. Went out in his heat of the World Championships, the 19-year-old, best of 52.85 this year, and that is his lifetime best. And then in 2 is Ivan Danny Geldenhuis of Namibia. 21 in a few days' time, the South African semi-finalist in the African Championships in Mauritius back in early June, but he hasn't raced either since early June, the 20-year-old Geldenhuis. 46.4 his best this year. Remember, the first 3 go through by right, so he'll be right on the cusp of it, will even Danny Geldenhuis.
On your marks.
Reigning champion is Makwala. He's up Makwala of Botswana. Indeed, his teammate Babaloki Thebe took out the silver on the Gold Coast back in 2018. So the first heat of 7 then in the men's 400 metres. Geldenhuis in 2, Timbaki of Vanuatu in 3, Cox of Jamaica 4, Solomon of Australia in 5, the Sri Lankan Kumaraj in 6, Jordan of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 7, and Lara, Trinidad and Tobago in lane 8.
Set.
Well, qualifying from this should be a formality for an athlete of the calibre of Steve Solomon of Australia, but he'll want a solid run. He's in 5. They're right in the centre in the yellow with the greenish shorts, 4th from left at the moment, moving well down the back straight. And actually quickest away is Kumaraj of Sri Lanka, really quick through the first 200 in that blue strip. He's a 45.8 performer this year, but he leads at the moment by quite some margin. Solomon going okay right in the centre. Inside him, the Jamaican vest of Anthony Cox is moving well around the second bend as they come into the straight. Kumaraj has given 101% through the first 300. Now he's chased down by the big figure of Cox, the Jamaican, who looks very strong for the last 50. Solomon follows him through, and he's under real pressure here for 3rd place, and I think he just loses out there to Geldenhuis from Namibia, who gets 3rd spot. It is the first 3, remember, who go through by right. And I think, despite giving everything for the first 380, it was nearly enough. Kumaraj of Sri Lanka might just have got run out of it. It was very tight at the line. No doubting the strong finish and fine form of Anthony Cox. Maybe a little bit frustrated after not being able to give his all in Eugene a couple of weeks back because of COVID. But he wins in 45.51. That is only a couple of clicks outside his lifetime best from earlier on this season. And Steve Solomon, 45.98, a solid 2nd for Australia. And it was even Danny Geldenhuis of Namibia who took 3rd place, 46.51. Kumaraj will have to wait and see, but 46.53, I'm not sure it'll be quick enough. Desroy Jordan of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a personal best for him. Significant leap forward, 47.29.
Oh, I was absolutely willing the Sri Lankan 3rd from the left here as we look at it to get himself home in the top 3. It was a really bold piece of running because he knew the likes of Cox of Jamaica and Solomon, who seems to have been around for a lifetime, made the Olympic final must have been a teenager then back in 2012. The Sri Lanka knew that they would be coming and closing, and that he'd start wading through treacle towards the back end of the race. Geldenhuis did really well to come through in lane 2. Good running by Cox, just off the podium in the World Youth a few years ago. So unlucky to get COVID in Eugene and not be able to perform at his best. It's a good run by Solomon there, and Geldenhuis out dipping Kumar. So the Sri Lankan will have to wait to see whether he can claim one of the 3 non-automatic spots. But remember, that's 3 non-automatic spots from 7 heats. Good running by Cox, 3rd in the Jamaican National Champs. Just to make it as any level of international in a Jamaican sprint event shows you the calibre of the man we've just been watching, just off the podium in the World Youth, and he'll be absolutely determined to remind everybody what he could have produced in Eugene had COVID not brought his aspirations at the Worlds to a premature end.
Well, there it is. You can see the fine form of Anthony Cox. Bottom of picture. Working hard with the arms there. And that is very nearly a lifetime best. And I think there's considerably more to come from the 21-year-old. Solomon of Australia in the dark glasses. Moving well, and you can see the effort from even Danny Geldenhuis. Here he is with about 40 to go. He's way back in 4th, but he keeps battling away. Kumaraj by far the smallest of the 4-inch shot, just tying up the stride length going, the knees not coming up over the final meters, and he just gets out dipped by the Namibian, giving himself an early 21st birthday present in effect. There it is. Anthony Cox wins for Jamaica, 45.51, and lovely big capital Q beside his name. Steve Solomon likewise for Australia in 2nd place, and Geldenhuis of Namibia taking that precious 3rd spot by 4/100ths of a second.
20, held by Jehu Gordon. That would have been back in 2010, 49.76.
Stunning record. Definitely don't think that is under threat.
That was the year he won the Austin Seeley Award, one of 4 Trinidad and Tobago athletes to do so.
We did have qualifying in the under-20 boys 400 hurdles. And we're set for quite a final coming up. Two wins for the Bahamas in the 400 hurdles, 1 for the US Virgin Islands. The Jamaicans are favored in the last one. They have 2 big guns, the only 2 who have gone under 51 seconds this season, ranked 5th and 6th in the world this year at the under-20 level. And so they come in as handy favorites, but we've seen so often at these CARIFTA Games that matters not whether you're the favorite, because there are some informed kids coming for the titles.
If anything, there is a slight boost for Robert Miller. His record in the under-17 competition still stands.
And let's head across to Donald Oliver. Hurdles final coming up. Jehu Gordon, the record holder, 49.76. Here's the lineup. Jeremiah Francis of Trinidad and Tobago, Zion Davis, Bahamas, Shane West, Trinidad and Tobago, Robert Miller, Jamaica, Kyle Ned, Grenada, Princewell Martin, Jamaica, Akane Samuel Francis of St. Kitts and Nevis, and Rashad Gibson of Barbados. Going through their final paces, the crowd being introduced to the long jumpers, including, of course, the reigning Austin Seeley Award winner, Janeda Gans. Also in that lineup for Trinidad and Tobago, Gianna Paul, who led the heptathlon impressively last year before injury rolled around to the remainder of the competition. No combined events action for her this season. She is going for it all in the long jump final. There's Robert Miller, still the under-17 400 hurdles record holder. Fell from the outside, lane number 8 at the Jamaican High School Championships in the under-20 final. He'll be hoping to avoid a repeat tonight in search of a medal. The introduction of the long jumpers has been going on for quite a while now. There are 20 of them, so you can imagine it's taking a little while. Here's a look at Kyle Ned of Grenada. Looked good in qualifying this morning. Is there a chance for a medal? Let's start on the outside. Rashad Gibson of Barbados, 54.23 in qualifying. Takes his place in lane number 8 in the championship race. Akane Samuel Francis, a silver medalist last year at the under-17 level, 53.68 to get to this final competition. He has the quality to medal. Princewell Martin won the under-17 400 hurdles title in Kingston in 2022, took silver at the under-20s last year. He's one of the favorites. Kyle Ned of Grenada, good in qualifying at 52.16, ran with a lot of confidence this morning. Let's see if he can repeat or get even better in the final. Robert Miller at 50.89 is the 6th fastest under-20 athlete in the world this year. He is last year's under-17 champion and still the record holder. In lane number 3 from Trinidad and Tobago, Shane West, 52.20 in qualifying today. Has an outside shot to the medal, and with the crowd pushing him, you never know. In lane number 2 for the Bahamas, 52.23 in qualifying, Zion Davis. And closing out the field, in lane number 1, Jeremiah Francis of Trinidad and Tobago. He qualified with 54.46. Final of the under-20 boys 400 hurdles.
Shane West just taps his right thigh. Hopefully everything's all right. You know how athletes are. A little superstition, just get the feel, make sure everything's right.
Francis, Trinidad and Tobago. Davis, Bahamas. West, TNT. Miller, Jamaica. Ned, Grenada. Martin, Jamaica. Samuel Francis, St. Kitts and Nevis. Gibson, Barbados. Final of the under-20 boys 400 hurdles. Who will get it? Who will get the under-20 boys 400 hurdles gold medal? The Grenadian Kyle Ned has gone out quickly. Closes down on the Jamaican Princewell Martin, who starts to respond down the backstretch. The second Jamaican Robert Miller going steadily in lane number 4. Ned, Martin and Akane Francis of St. Kitts and Nevis, with Robert Miller drawing closer for Jamaica. 4 close together as they get ready to transition down the stretch. It's Robert Miller who leads, overstriding to a couple of the hurdles, but they say that is better than chopping strides. He's put it together now. Robert Miller is well clear of the rest of the field. There's a battle on for silver. Princewell Martin will get it ahead of Akane Francis of St. Kitts and Nevis, who gets bronze. But Robert Miller, in his first year at the under-20 level, decimates the field and wins back-to-back 400 hurdles gold medals at the CARIFTA Games. That really was stunning. Fell at the Jamaican High School Championships, but he has put it together brilliantly today. 50.42, it's the personal best and the CARIFTA gold medal.
The 400-meter discipline, whether run on the flat or over hurdles, often reveals the purest form of sprint endurance. 2 races, the men's 400 meters at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham and the under-20 boys 400-meter hurdles final at the 2025 CARIFTA Games, offered a fascinating comparison of experience versus youth, control versus aggression, and expectation versus execution. In Birmingham, the spotlight fell on Jamaica's Anthony Cox, an athlete driven by redemption. After a disappointing World Championships in Eugene, where COVID disrupted his preparation, Cox arrived with something to prove. The field around him was diverse and unpredictable, featuring competitors like Australia's Steve Solomon, Trinidad and Tobago's Jereem Lara, and Sri Lanka's Kolinga Kumar. From the opening meters, it was Kumar who dictated the tempo. His explosive start over the first 200 meters created immediate separation, forcing the rest of the field into a reactive position. This aggressive strategy highlighted one of the key dynamics of the flat 400 meters: pacing. Kumar's decision to push early brought excitement, but it also exposed the inherent danger of going out too fast. The final 100 meters in a one-lap race are often unforgiving, and athletes must balance ambition with control. Cox, in contrast, appeared more measured. His race was built on composure, gradually building speed and positioning himself to capitalize when others began to fade. It was a performance shaped not just by physical ability, but by experience and tactical awareness. Meanwhile, at the CARIFTA Games, the under 2400 meters hurdles final showcased a different kind of intensity. Here, Jamaica entered as overwhelming favorites, led by Robert Miller and Princewell Martin. Both athletes had already broken the 51-second barrier, placing them among the best junior hurdlers in the world. Unlike Cox's situation in Birmingham, where redemption was the narrative, the Jamaican duo at CARIFTA carried the weight of expectation. The hurdles event added another layer of complexity. Unlike the flat 400 meters, where rhythm is important, the 400 meters hurdles demands precision between barriers, efficient clearance technique, and the ability to maintain form under fatigue. Miller, with his 50.89 season best, demonstrated a blend of speed and technical mastery, while Martin brought consistency and competitive experience from previous championships. The rest of the CARIFTA field, including Grenada's Kyle Ned and St. Kitts and Nevis's Akanea's Samuel Francis, provided strong competition, but the race ultimately revolved around whether anyone could challenge Jamaica's dominance. In contrast to Kumar's explosive gamble in Birmingham, the hurdlers had to distribute their energy more evenly. A single misstep over a hurdle could destroy momentum, making controlled aggression the ideal approach. Comparing these two races reveals the subtle differences within the same distance. The flat 400 meters in Birmingham emphasized race strategy and psychological resilience, particularly in Cox's composed response to early pressure. It was a story of patience overcoming impulsiveness. On the other hand, the 400-meter hurdles at CARIFTA highlighted technical discipline and the rising standard of youth athletics, where athletes like Miller and Martin are already performing at levels comparable to senior competitors. Ultimately, both races underscored Jamaica's strength in the 400-meter events. Whether through Cox's redemption arc or the dominance of their young hurdlers, Jamaica demonstrated depth, versatility, and a winning culture. Yet the contrast remains clear. One race was about reclaiming status on a senior stage, while the other signaled the future, a new generation ready to take that legacy even further.